special teams and the ability to be gashed if you can get them, especially it looks in the punt game. I mean, they have a lot of punts that are returned, which, as you know, the more balls you field, the more chances you have to increase that average. So I think the Browns are going to have some opportunities against a so-so special teams here to also perhaps break off one of those runs. And as we know, those are game changers there. Those are the ones that can suck the wind out of a building, and that would be a big place as well, too. But I'm with you. I'm not doing the whole, this is just Jacksonville type thing. But as you and I have just kind of ran the gamut through the roster, there is not a ton. There is talent on Jacksonville, but the talent that they do have, a lot of it is young. In a lot of places, the cupboard really is bare, and this is a team that is at the bottom of a rebuilding process.
Right. You talked about some of we talked about some of the first and second year players they have. You talked about how they have a hard time on special teams. A lot of the guys that are their starters, that are their main guys, are people who on other teams would be the special teamers. So I'm not saying they have a team full of special teamers, but they have guys who are really playing pretty much above their heads, and they're all kind of in this boat swimming together because they've committed to the rebuilding process. And maybe in a few years, especially with a good quarterback like Bortles, maybe they'll get there. But fortunately, they're not there now. I mean, one person I wanted to mention was Jonathan Cyprien, their strong safety. He had a really great game last week. He has 15 tackles, but unfortunately, 15 tackles, that means your front seven isn't really tackling anybody. So hopefully that's another good sign for the Browns as far as, overall just having a higher level of talent and a little bit of more experienced talent than Jacksonville.
And that's where I think that the Browns lean on the running game here and take a lot of that clock off with that, and they're able to use it. I think you're going to see basically what you saw last week, a limited passing game. When they do go, they go for the chunks. They get those chunk plays, as Mike Pettin likes to call it, and I think you'll see them lean heavily. I mean, I could see 40 rushes and 20 passes in this game, assuming, of course, that the game plays out the way you think it would here. Looking at Jacksonville, this is only going to be their third home game of the season. They were blown out by the Colts, 44-17. They were beaten by the Steelers at home 2 weeks ago, 17-9. And last week, as you talked about, that thrilling loss at the end. Well, thrilling at the end, and I don't know about the rest of the game so much. 16-14, the final. They fell to Tennessee last week. Of course, that's the team that the Browns made that comeback on 2 weeks ago. So there it is. We've kind of looked at what they've got, and as we said, they've got some weapons. They've got some lack of weapons, too. Jacksonville 0-6, hoping to get their first win of the season against the Browns this Sunday. Let's start with you. Do you think they do it?
I don't think Jacksonville is going to win this one. I think that the Browns are going to play pretty much, like you mentioned, pretty much a lot like they did last week against the Steelers. They seem to start off very slowly, especially on the road. But I think that, they've got a lot of confidence now with Hoyer really having a ton of poise and everybody really believing in him. And he's someone who just totally doesn't panic. So even if things don't work out on the first couple drives, after a while he starts to get in the groove, and then he's just rolling along. So hopefully by the time we get to halftime, hopefully the Browns will be up by at least so that the Jaguars don't have any visions of great second-half comebacks dancing in their heads, so that the Browns can pretty much put this one away. I think that, Jacksonville, I'm not saying that there's no chance that Jacksonville can win, but I think the only way the Jags will win is if the Browns really screw up and really play down to their level. I think as long as the Browns have a reasonably good performance, even if it's not perfect, as long as they play pretty much the way they can without too many mistakes, I think they're going to pen.
A couple of things here. We didn't really look at the Browns' side, but a couple of notes I wanted to get in while we're talking about this. You're pretty close to me, but looking at a couple of things. We talked about the offensive line. For those of you guys that haven't heard, Browns, most likely we're going to have Greco again being the center. It looks like the decision's going to be McQuiston on the line. Mike Pettin was really wanting to keep McQuiston as the swing guard to replace anybody who gets injured during the game, but it looks like he's going to be the starter. They've moved Ryan Seymour up from the practice squad, and he will be the additional lineman that's been added for this weekend for the Browns. Also in the defensive backfield, because we talked about Bortles attacking with those wide receivers, which I think you're going to see a lot of because these guys can't run the ball really at all with Davidson a little bit. But anyways, you're going to see there, Quan Williams not going to play. He's not past the concussion protocol. Mike Pettine was still using words like not sure, but he was pretty sure that it's just not enough time left for Williams to play in the game this Sunday. So if that's the case, then they will swing Buster Screen back to the inside, and you'll see Justin Gilbert get the start on the outside there at cornerback, and you'll see a lot more reps for Batamosi and Jim Leonard as well. They went the other way because Williams could play on the inside, so they kept Buster Screen on the outside. But this week, if that's the case, and it is, Quan Williams is not gonna pass the concussion test by Sunday. There's no time left, so that'll be the way it'll go. It's going to be Justin Gilbert on the outside, and they'll move Screen over to the inside with Batamosi and Jim Leonard being the primary backups there for those guys there. So that's where things stand with that. And Bruce in the chat room asking if West is going to dress. To be honest, I think that's a game-time decision. I think the Browns are trying to figure out how many linemen they're going to dress for the game and how some of those positions are going to break down too. West, I thought it was interesting. We didn't mention it this week. Did you see his comments, Jeff? He admitted, and this is something we talk about. We talked about the mentality of this even in the preseason with Manziel and Hoyer and what happens when you lose a position battle. He talked about how he sunk into a bit of a funk for a couple of days because Crowell kind of surpassed him on the depth chart, and he did not handle it very well. And the Browns said not only was he not handling it well during practice, but on the sidelines when he wasn't playing, he wasn't paying attention to the game. When his name was called, he wasn't necessarily ready to go in. There was times that his focus was out there, and he came very clean and admitted that a lot of that was not knowing how to handle being passed on the depth chart by Crowell the way he was to kind of go from number 2 to number 3. So that's stuff that Mike Pettine said he's going to have to clean up. I don't know. Have you heard anything? Do you think that West is going to dress for this game?
Well, I kind of don't think he is, and I don't think it's going to be really a punishment. I think, like you said, the Browns need so much, bodies on the offensive line, and it's really a situation where all three, and that's the thing that probably has to be driving Terrence West crazy. He didn't really do a bad job. He did quite well. It's just that Crowell also did well, and then, of course, we got Ben Tate coming back. It's just that really all three of those running backs, they're all doing so well that you really don't need all three of them. You really only can, as long as nobody gets hurt, you can get by with two of them and then, sit the other one on the bench and have, enough linemen and defensive backs that you need. So it's kind of really an embarrassment of riches. And I know that West has a lot of pride, being as well as he did last year in college. And I know he was thinking about maybe challenging Tate for the number 1 spot and maybe being kind of a co-number 1 running back, and to have him sort of get tipped by Crowell, who is very good, but pretty much came out of nowhere to make the team as an undrafted free agent. That's really got to kind of stick in his craw. Again, he must be saying, what did I do to lose this job? I think I did pretty well, but I think so I guess he probably just showed some immaturity, but it seems like now he is showing some maturity and realizing what he did wrong. So I guess the short answer is I don't think he's going to dress either, but simply because they need more linemen.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see how, and that's really what I think too. Whether he does or doesn't, it's simply going to be how many people they carry on the other positions there. Absolutely. All right, Jeff Gorman. Wow, man, we may have we should. If we can't have a unanimous panel today, I don't know what we're doing here, man, but we'll see. Maybe Ryan Ruiz is going to surprise us all and pick the Jaguars. I don't know. I mean, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that that's not the case. Jeff Gorman, my man, Browns101.com. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the Browns game. Enjoy the great high school football around the area this weekend. You and I will catch up on Tuesday. We'll preview the World Series with the Royals and the Giants.
Sounds like a lot of fun. Thanks, J-Rock. It's always a pleasure.
Always, my man, Jeff Gorman. You guys can tweet with them at Browns_101. We're going to take a break. When we come back, it's time for some Dawg Bones, baby. 3 Dawg Bones to a Browns victory. Every week, Jeff Gorman gets on the phone with me and tells you all the things you need to look out for from the Browns' opponent. And then Ryan Ruiz from Dog Pound Nation follows that up with the 3 Dawg Bones to a Browns victory. It's basically the keys to the game. What do the Browns need to do to win this game? Show up is not fair. You cannot use that as Dawg Bone number 1, Ryan Ruiz. I think he's going to put a little bit more work into it than that. We'll talk about it when we come back. Ryan Ruiz, 3 Dawg Bones to victory. We're looking at the Browns and the Jags when we come back next on the Sports Fix.
there's something kind of about a kid that's never played baseball.
Throwing you the best sports commentary in town. The Sports Fix.
Guys, want to take just a second as we head into this break and remind you about the official business printing source of the Sports Fix, our friends at Signs and Ship. Signs and Ship, I'm telling you, Chris and Pam, they've taken care of me since day one, and they can do the same for you. Whether you're a small business that's already been established and you're looking to grow to that next level and expand your business, or perhaps you've got an idea that you just know is going to be a great business and you need to figure out how to brand it and how to promote it and put it out there, Signs and Ship is the place for you. If you need a logo, they can create one for you. They have a fantastic graphic designer. Business cards, signs, banners, yard signs, mobile advertising, anything you can think of that you need to promote your business, they've got it at Signs and Ship. The best thing about them, too, is each of their locations, whether it's the home base here in Elyria, Ohio that I work with, or their spots in Virginia, Florida, and Pennsylvania, it's all local sourced. Very important to me because we all understand that small business is the lifeblood of the community. So check them out, signsandship.com, or call Chris and Pam today, 440-323-6060, the home office in Elyria, Ohio. Signs and Ship, quality printing at affordable prices.
Portions of the Sports Fix brought to you by GV Art and Design. Find all the hottest Cleveland sports gear online at gvartwork.com or at their brand new store on Detroit Avenue in Lakewood.
Hey, it's Kirk Herbstreit from ESPN. Football has played a big part in my life, but football's also a lot more than just big plays, wins, losses, and championships. Football teaches young people about dedication, sacrifice, teamwork, and overcoming adversity. So let's respect the game and get out and support your local school. You'll be amazed of all the good things you see happening at Ohio schools.
This message brought to you by the Ohio High School Athletic Association and the OHSAA Radio Network.
Sports Fix listeners, like us on Facebook today. Facebook.com/The Sports Fix. Football season is party season at Harry Buffalo North Olmsted. Everyone wins at Harry Buffalo. Every Saturday is Coors Light College Football Saturday with $6 pitchers, 4 bottles for $10, and the Buckeyes in full HD. Football season is most definitely party season, and your headquarters is Harry Buffalo North Olmsted all winter long. Harry Buffalo, join the herd.
Hey everybody, this is Doug Plagans, the voice of the Lake Erie Monsters, and you're listening to the Sports Fix.
Welcome back to the Sports Fix, live across the Sports Fix Radio Network. J-Rock back with you, rolling on with this Friday edition of the show. As you can hear in the background, got a little music playing to set up the stage. Ryan Ruiz, the Browns beat writer for Dog Pound Nation, going to join us here. He does it every Friday. He brings us the 3 Dawg Bones. It's the 3 keys to the game, what the Browns have to do to win this week's game. Of course, we've been previewing it. It's the Jaguars. It's coming up. I'm going to open the phone lines to you after this segment for the final segment of the show, and we'll do that in a moment. But you can keep talking to us right now on the spot if you got to get through. Facebook.com/The Sports Fix. Tweet with us at The Sports Fix, CLE. Email us, thesportsfix@AOL.com, and start sending me your predictions for the Browns game as well. You've heard the predictions thus far here on the show as we roll on, and of course we'll get Ryan's as well. I want yours, so hit us up, facebook.com/The Sports Fix. Tweet with us at The Sports Fix CLE, or email us, thesportsfix@AOL.com. You guys in the chat room as well. What are your predictions for the Browns game this weekend? What's the score, win, lose, or draw? Let's hear it. I'm going to the phones, and let's start talking some Dawg Bones with my man. He writes for Dog Pound Nation, and he's here every Friday. Ryan Ruiz, Browns beat writer on the Sports Fix. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, J-Rock, happy Friday.
Happy Friday it is, my man. How you doing?
I'm doing good. That was we didn't get to talk about it, but that was pretty impressive last week, wasn't it?
Absolutely.
But the Steelers the Steelers just laid it too, though.